Well, let's talk about one of the hottest topics, good grief, that we can talk about today, and that's how to hire the right person, even when you can't find the right people to hire. Hey, it's Scott Beebe with Business on Purpose. Delighted as always that you can join us. Make sure to subscribe on our YouTube channel and also the My Business on Purpose podcast. It's on iTunes, Spotify, a couple different channels. You can check us out there. Never have I seen so many now hiring signs on the side of massive manufacturing plants, in front of windows of bistro shops, and permanently wrapped on the side of service trucks as we did this past weekend. Ashley and I were on a date weekend, and 3 places we went to eat were all noticeably short-staffed. In fact, there was one local public house, one of those little dives you can go to, had about 30 tables and a full bar inside, and they had one non-kitchen staff that was working. One. They had a whole group in the back, but one person. She was going from the bar to the kitchen to the tables to cleaning the tables to doing everything. One person. Now, we all tipped her well, and we even helped serve ourselves, and we cheered her on, but the realization was there. And regardless of the cause, it's hard to find good people right now. It's not because people aren't good. It's just hard to find people who really, really want to buy in and work right now. So meeting us at the front door of another restaurant we visited was a smiling hostess who, after some conversation, was laughing that the only reason she was there is because her friends all worked there and called her last minute to see if she could come help seat people. She didn't work there. She technically is not even on the payroll. The vision of our business is calling for growth, and growth is calling for more people. But how do you hire the right people when you can't find any people to hire? Someone told me last week, that online job posting site, Indeed. They said Indeed's got to be making a killing right now. Well, probably so. And yet finding and hiring the right people seems to be killing us. So what do? Where do we find the right people to hire? How can we get good people to buy into our great mission and provide an exceptional service? Well, I've got hard news and even harder news, and yet there's hope. The hope is this: people are still people, and people migrate towards experiences they find fulfillment in. The good news also is that the bar is low right now for business owners creating a fulfilling work experience for people to migrate towards. The other bit of good news is that people are still people, and people are social. They want to share things with others that they know, but the things they share must be remarkable, worth remarking about. So how can you create a remarkable culture that a very small group of people will be attracted to, and then go and invite their friends? So this is the hard news. It ain't easy, but it's doable. Let's take this in 2 parts. Part 1. Creating a remarkable culture. Part 2, finding the right people to come join your remarkable culture. Starting with part 1, how do we create a remarkable culture? For many, it seems to mean ping pong tables and free sodas and snacks and Cadillac-style benefits and unreasonable perks that do more to promote not working than aligning great people to do great work and lock in on a collective mission. Culture has very little to do with ping pong tables and Reese's Pieces. I like those things, but building culture has very little to do with that. First, in order to have a great culture, you simply must have a written and installed structure. Noise and shifting foundations are the new landscape for our society. We are being encouraged to have each have our own worldview. So it's a curious thought that after deliberation leads to the realization that society cannot function without agreed upon collective structure. Too much structure, of course, leads to dictatorial rule. Too little, and truth becomes relative, and stoplights become suggestions rather than law. In business, structure equals written vision, mission, values, process roadmaps, job roles, org charts, hiring and onboarding processes, and consistent communication hubs like team meetings and daily huddles. Bad culture is built, yes, I said bad culture is built by business owners who say they have structure and then disregard the structure. Second, in order to build great culture, you must repeat and maintain your structure over time. Built by leading your weekly meeting every week. Built by working your hiring and onboarding process every time, built by reviewing your mission and values at every gathering, every sales call, on every page of your site, talking about them in real conversation when you rise up, walk around, lie down, then become ingrained. That's what happens to values and mission when you talk about them over and over again. And we've got to be building this by showing up at our huddle every time. Bad culture is built by saying you will do these things and then not showing up. Culture is created through the intentional planting of either the right or the wrong ingredients. It's your choice. Culture is not reformed in a retreat. It's not reformed after a 2-week strategy period with a culture consultant. Culture responds directly to the effort you apply to the systems and structure that you create. I want to say that again. Culture responds directly to the effort that you apply to the systems and structure that you create. See, Ashley and I want to be married for a long time. It'll be 23 years in this next 2 months. So what we try to do is put together a series of structure in place that facilitates connectedness in our relationship, like dating weekly and getting away quarterly. And you don't have to pay big money to do that. You can do that at home, or you can just go out and tent camp. You could say, well, Scott, that's not love if you have to schedule your relationship. Well, I'm not sure that it's love if you don't intentionally schedule your relationship. Part 2, how do you find the people to come join your culture? Well, first, you got to know the job role you're asking people to commit to and know the process that you're asking them to do. A good job role will be a simple outline of all of the tasks that you're asking that person to commit to, that is tied back directly to the vision of the business and the mission that binds you together. A good role must be written down and shared. Second, we got to start with the connections and not with the global blast for people. This will not always work, and yet it must be the first place that you start. After you have written your job role, you've got to share that job role with friends and relationships and ask, who do you know who would be great at the items on this role and would buy into our mission? In order for them to know the mission to buy into it, means you've got to first share that mission, which means you got to first know that mission. So share your mission with your friends. Tell them what you're doing and tell them why you're doing it. The third thing is you've got to have team members who are buying in, asking them who they know who would fit into the mission. Listen, if your team members are unwilling to invite people, then it might be an indication that they're not completely sold on the culture themselves. But if they do invite people, then it shows you that they want others to be a part of what they're a part of and, quite frankly, what they're helping to build. It will be easy to dismiss all of this under this sentiment. You can look at me and go, Scott, listen, you just don't understand what it's like in our market or in our industry or in our business, or insert excuse here. If you intentionally build an attractive culture through repetitive structure, people will come. It'll happen even in a tough environment. Hey, make sure to go check us out at mybusinessonpurpose.com. We answer many of your toughest questions right on our homepage. And also, if you need help finding and hiring people, we can help you with the structure side of that. Reach out. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. mybusinessonpurpose.com. Also, check us out at our YouTube channel and our podcast, My Business on Purpose. And let's go find and bring in the right people to match the mission, the values, and the culture of what we're trying to build.